If you've ever been at a job where you work like retail or food service or whatever, you know that there's often security cameras around, including in the store. And increasingly, these types of cameras are being installed to track productivity and monitor the behavior and the patterns of workers. This is so dystopian. And in this case, they were saying this coffee shop uses AI to track the productivity of baristas and how much time customers are spending in the shop. The NeuroSpot barista staff control and customer monitoring video analytics module are designed to enhance efficiency. Okay. I mean, I think what's scary is like if you look at this video of kind of like this monitoring software, it shows how many cups of coffee each person has served, how long each person has been there, and you can see the path that each worker takes. This is terrifying, you guys. This is exactly why we need privacy laws. Oh, somebody said they did a that it's fake and it's not monitoring. Well, let me tell you, they have it monitoring in factories, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Which is that there's increasingly this effort to monitor productivity using AI. It's called Bossware, um, and or like that's kind of like the the type of stuff that this is sort of known as. Oh my god, I hit the paywall again. Hold on. And it's basically just showing it's increasingly sort of like tracking people. We this started a lot in 2020 where you guys might have seen people getting like these keyboard jigglers and stuff to make it seem like they were on their laptop or active in Slack when they weren't. But it's expanded a lot to the physical world. And okay, great. This is probably going to break the visualization because I'm on the archive site. Um, but there was this article from years ago called The Rise of the Worker Productivity Score. So this is probably, okay, maybe, what was the other? Oh, I lost the tweet. This is maybe a simulation, but this is very standard in terms of what is happening at a lot of workplaces where um, across industries and incomes, more employees are being tracked, recorded, and ranked. What is gained? Companies say efficiency and accountability, but what is lost? What is lost is everything: privacy, autonomy, the ability to organize and, um, you know, fight for better wages. I think it's notable that this stuff is ubiquitous in low wage jobs. Amazon obviously pioneered a lot of this stuff, which is really depressing because delivery drivers were being tracked, Amazon warehouses were being tracked. But now this is spreading across, like it's spreading into more factory environments, it's spreading more into retail environments where there's a lot more retail surveillance. Um, and also white collar jobs as well. It's really scary. And there was this article also in, I guess, Total retail website, and it's talking about how remote video monitoring for security is reshaping the retail experience. And that's what this is. It's often it's not even about, it's like the whole thing. And oh, this is a promotional article, great. The whole sell on a lot of it is like safety or you know basically like we're monitoring this for your own good, but it's not for your own good, it's for the boss's good. This is a thing on workplace surveillance and how it's affecting employees. um So, yeah, it's called Bossware, I guess, like software. It's basically refers to a wide range of digital surveillance tools that are used in all kinds of workplaces. These include warehousing, retail, trucking, healthcare, banking, to name a few. They have everything from cameras to microphones, computer monitoring softwares, advanced tracking software, app-based monitoring, even wearable devices that track workers' health data. And so here's some examples of surveillance tools used in workplaces. This is so bleak. Like in these delivery, I guess, vans and stuff, they have eye camera tracking, computer monitoring, microphones, wearables that tracks your biometric movements, geolocation tags, app-based tracking. It's really, really bad. Um, Here, it allows employers to identify specific areas for improvement and provide targeted coaching, training, and offer support. Some employers began using surveillance tools after increasing workplace flexibilities for their staff, such as remote and hybrid work arrangements. So it's like, great, you can work from home, but we're going to be tracking you 24/7 and, you know, um, I think sorry, I just saw the chat. Guys, I think that initial video might just be like a example of what is possible and how some of these surveillance tools work, but it's not an example of a real surveillance video, or maybe that's an overlay of an actual video of a coffee shop. The point is that this is how it works. Those surveillance tools are getting very pervasive and they are doing all of this. So I think that's just a example video of how this Bossware surveillance stuff works. But I think, like, the thing is the coffee shop. I used to work at, like, a bagel store and stuff, so that I was like, "Oh, I hate that they're surveilling these, like, types of workers because it's like, what if you wanna give a free coffee to, somebody that's having a hard day or things like that?" I don't know. I used to do that all the time when I was a worker, and when you're increasingly being surveilled, like, those things can be held against you. And I think also, like, when we talk about workplace surveillance software too, we're talking about every single job. Like, this is showing white collar jobs, drivers, like healthcare workers, delivery people. It's everywhere. And of course, this has a devastating effect on workers. It affects your mental health, as we're just talking about with kids. Constant surveillance stresses you out. You feel like you're being micromanaged. You know, it says, I think this piece makes a good point that the sheer act of surveillance can contribute to workers feeling less confident or enthusiastic about their jobs. And I get that. A call center worker said that surveillance tools have resulted in an unrelenting push to improve sales. The pressure to sell in the various ways managers can monitor me creates an enormous amount of stress. I used to be a call center worker too. I can't imagine being a call center worker today in in this age of surveillance. So, this piece in the New York Times, again, sort of like talks about more of this. Some radiologists see scoreboards showing their inactivity time, how their productivity stacks against colleagues. That's what I mean, I think, about this video when you're seeing, and again, I think this is like a mock-up of what could be. It's not necessarily real, but you can see that, like, it's easy to monitor productivity scores. And, if one person is seen constantly serving things or constantly answering calls or whatever, they're going to have this higher productivity score. And that's really depressing and bleak. In Britain, Barclays Bank scrapped prodding messages to workers like "not enough time in the zone" yesterday after they caused an uproar. At United Health Group, low keyboard activity can affect compensation and bonuses. This is really bleak. We're in this era of measurement, but we don't know what we should be measuring, said one VP of workplace software. Great. And, here it says United Health social workers were marked as idle for lack of keyboard activity while counseling patients in drug treatment facilities. Grocery cashiers said that they felt pressure to quickly scan items, degraded customer service, making it harder to be patient with elderly shoppers who move slowly. Ms. Kramer said that she sometimes resorted to doing busy work that's mindless to accumulate clicks. Like, all of these metrics are just very broken. Participating in a funeral, 1.75 points. A phone call to grieving relatives, 1/4 point. Oh, this is the therapist, I guess. Oh, a reverend who became a hospice chaplain to help patients wrestle with deep searching questions. And now she's getting surveilled. Oh, I wish the interactive was showing up because it's actually really good, but anyway, it just yeah. Matthew Phillip lost a freelance job after refusing to install Time Doctor software that would have taken screenshots of his work. He found it intrusive and misleading. Yes, unions are the answer, guys. Unions, of course. Yes, we want unions. But I'm just saying it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to unionize when you're being surveilled 24/7. Um, and there aren't laws. I mean, look, guys, this is not illegal for companies to do. It's not illegal. We don't have privacy protections in America. There's no way to really fight back against this other than, I mean, maybe you can sue for some of it. Like maybe if that person could sue because they're taking screenshots of his intellectual property, maybe if they misuse it in some way. Um, Yeah, it's just really bad. Workdays grew longer for her and others in part because offline work didn't count. It was nearly impossible to work online with unwavering focus. Taking time to mull or banter with colleagues turned out to be necessary to both doing her job and getting through the day, even if those moments were unpaid. You have to be in front of your computer in work mode 55 or 60 hours just to get those 40 hours count and paid for, Miss Kramer said. And this is what it is all about, right? It's all about just squeezing every single last dollar out of workers. The metrics are useless. Literally, as somebody said, these are just ridiculous. Um, and it's not helping people. It's all for bosses. It's creating data that bosses can use against their employees to pay them less, to ensure that they don't get, fairly compensated. This guy talks about working at McDonald's where he was monitored and they would go red if they weren't monitored enough. It's just like, this is all just so horrible. And as somebody pointed out, at the same time that there's all of this stuff, um, worker productivity has skyrocketed. People are working harder and longer today than they ever have. And you know what I hate is these people that are collaborators, these people that like the systems, these people that defend these systems. Like, what is this quote from Ritu Chattopadhyay? Sorry, I am dyslexic. I'm butchering everyone's name as usual. Anyway, she says she was unfazed by the heavy tracking, including screenshots taken throughout the day. There are people who are honest and people who are not, and there's no way to tell the difference, she said. Rita, please give me a break. This is horrible. You should have solidarity with your fellow workers, Rita. Amazon's time off task policy recorded warehouse workers every pause and resulted in the firing of highly praised employees after one bad day. With unionization efforts underway on Staten Island in California, and new California regulations on warehouse metrics, Amazon reformulated its rules. The company still calculates every worker's rate or pace. According to a spokeswoman, managers have been directed to look into idle periods of longer than 15 minutes. God forbid you just need to take a little break once in a while. The fact that they're doing this to reverends and social workers is insane. Oh my God, look at this Sarah Cooksey. Guys, these people, if I encounter these people IRL, these people are worse to me than the bosses. The collaborators are worse than the bosses because they're the ones that they don't have solidarity with their fellow workers. Sarah is an operations associate, not even a manager. Okay. This woman is some operations associate at a marketing agency. Okay. You are a worker. And look at what she says. Miss Cooksey craves greater tracking, she said, because she suspects that a colleague on her team is doing far less than she is. There's no accountability when we're working from home, she said. Okay, Sarah, so you go to the office. Also, by the way, who knows what that lady on your team is going through? As somebody said, nothing is worse than a narc. I couldn't agree more. I have always said that at every single job. Nothing is worse than a narc. If you have that kind of energy, also, you don't owe your boss anything. You don't owe your boss. Your boss is there to get your labor. You don't owe your boss the truth about why you're taking time out. You don't owe your boss the truth about anything, to be honest. They're hiring you. I mean, they about your employment and stuff like that. But what I mean is like if you want to take a break and your boss says why, you don't have to tell them the truth, okay? Of course not. And this idea of like, oh, colleague is doing less than she is. Get over yourself. Maybe that person's having a hard time. Also, why are you working so hard? Why don't you slack off a little bit then? If obviously that coworker is doing it and it's okay, like, yeah, it's just such bootlicker snitch behavior. It's horrible. These people are awful, awful, awful attitude, major union busting energy, no solidarity. It's really gross. And also it's like, what do you get? What do you get? You get what? That your colleague, who by the way might be like chronically ill or might be going through a divorce, or who knows what that colleague is going through. Or maybe they're just having a tough day. Maybe they've got a lot on their plate and maybe they literally can't get as much work done because of their, I don't know. I have severe ADHD. I'm not a great employee. So like maybe that person just takes a little bit more time to get stuff done than you. Like who cares? Who cares? And also like what are you going to get? Like okay, so your colleague is getting less, like there's no accountability. What do you want? For them to be fired? What do you want? You're not getting anything more from it. Let me tell you that. There's no reward for narc behavior. These companies will screw you over left and right. When I was working retail and when I worked, doing all my like jobs that I did, let me tell you, you have to have solidarity with your fellow workers. And you should help them. And if they want you to cover for them, do it. Do it. Lie to your boss. Say, "Oh yeah, I just talked to Cindy. She's working really hard." Who cares? You don't owe your boss anything. You literally do not owe your bosses anything. You owe them your labor for work. You owe them, that's not true. You owe them exactly what they pay you for. That's it. That's all you owe them for. Exactly what they pay you for. And nothing more. Ugh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad at this person. I hate these types of people. Let's see what this guy had to say. Isaac Cohn, vice president of research development for some firm, he said, "Oh, his company offers surveillance for compliance reasons, but also live montage and latest snapshot views of employee screens." Okay, Isaac, you are doing bad things. Okay, the fact that they're doing this to chaplains is so crazy. Every morning, the chaplains would share on a spreadsheet the number of productivity points they anticipated earning. Every evening, the software would calculate if they'd met their goals. But dying defied planning. Patients broke down, canceled appointments, drew final breaths. This left clergy scrambling in a perpetual dilemma. Do I see patients who earn points, or do I see patients who really need to be seen? Guys, this is so dystopian. This is so dystopian. They're doing this to chaplains that are supposed to be grieving and helping grieving, the families of people that are dying. The productivity project is a success. Okay, you're terrorizing these chaplains. Anyway, this video, again, I think it's just a mock-up, but this is the type of software that is being, it might have a slightly different interface, but this is exactly what we're seeing. And we're seeing this roll out all over in all different types of workplaces, all these different types of things. And the biometric stuff is really scary to me. The biometric stuff is really scary because it's like, I don't want to be that active. And especially again, like I'm just a long time, I worked retail for so long, and like, you should be able to slack off. Like when I worked retail and you weren't supposed to like sit down during the day, you're always supposed to be on your feet for the customers. We would sit down all the time and just one person would be in the front of the store. And when a customer came in, they would greet them or say something, and then we would get off our asses in the back of the store. But like, you should be able to relax, and you should be able to cover for each other, and you should be able to slack off at work. And this type of stuff, it's like, imagine if there were all these cameras now, what retail workers go through, and any worker, right? Like at a coffee shop or something. It's just like monitoring you. It's like, no. I mean, yeah, the hospice system is obviously wealth extraction. Everything is wealth extraction. But I just think the fact that they're doing it in such a to people die. I mean, I guess it's like, of course, this is America. Of course, we're going to profit off people dying, but um, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. I hate it all. I hate mass surveillance, and I hate this Bossware stuff that's monitoring workers. Unions is what we need. Yeah, you should be able to slack unless you work somewhere like Chernobyl. Okay, yeah, if you have a job like that, okay, that's really high pressure. Sure, like we don't want like a surgeon slacking. I'm talking about like service jobs, guys. Or like, and by the way, surgeons deserve time off too. Like, you can't make a surgeon work like 20 million hours. You know what I mean? Like, everyone deserves to have a balanced life because we don't exist to work, you know?